Meghan Markle just got publicly humiliated by someone no one ever expected, Sir David Attenborough. That's all it took to blow up her entire brand. No warning, no PR spin, just a cold rejection that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The internet turned on her, insiders panicked, and she said nothing. What really happened? You're about to find out. It all started with a soft pastel lifestyle brand and ended with a public slap from Sir David Attenborough. Meghan Markle, not to be confused with Meghan Sussex, launched her new wellness brand as ever, hoping to sprinkle some eco-friendly fairy dust over jam jars and overpriced garden tools. And just like everything else she touches, it was less authentic, sustainability, and more Pinterest vibes with a PR team. But the twist? She decided to quietly name-drop Sir David Attenborough as her so-called inspiration. Subtle? Maybe. Strategic? Definitely. Smart? Well, that's where it gets messy. Because Sir David didn't just disapprove, he torched it. With 4 brutal words: "Don't use my name." That's right. The man who's narrated the natural world for decades had no idea his name was being tied to jam and mason jars. And when he found out, he shut it down faster than Harry opens his wallet when Meghan says, "We need new content." This wasn't just a rejection, it was a reputation collapse. Sir David isn't some Instagram influencer desperate for attention. He's a national icon. You can't just slap his legacy on a fruit spread and expect people not to notice. But that's been Meghan's entire game. Cozy up to icons, absorb their credibility, and pray no one looks too closely. Until now, and oh boy, people looked closely. Once Sir David drew a public red line, the internet exploded. Hashtag "Don't use my name" trended faster than Harry ditches royal duties. TikTok flooded with sarcastic memes, clips of Attenborough narrating lions in the wild over screenshots of Meghan's jam ads. One viral post read, "He saved the planet, not your brand." And just like that, the curtain was pulled back, and what people saw? A hollow empire made of beige filters and buzzwords. Meghan Markle, the queen of "if the narrative doesn't fit, blame the staff." What made it worse? Silence. Meghan's team, normally ready with a soft-spoken video, a carefully lit apology, or at least a quote about healing. Nothing. Not a tweet, not a podcast, not even a blurry photo of Harry pretending to garden. It was like someone hit the mute button on Montecito. And that's when it sank in. Even they knew it was bad. This wasn't just about jam anymore. It was about credibility. And when your brand is built entirely on borrowing prestige from others, all it takes is one respected legend saying "no thanks" to unravel the whole fantasy. Charles was never a deadbeat dad, but Meghan's branding strategy? That was pure deadbeat energy. Now here's where things really spiraled. You see, Meghan had carefully built as ever to scream ethical luxury. Think orchards, mason jars, overpriced herbal oils, and captions like "mindfully curated wellness." But once Sir David pulled out the eco rug from under her, people started digging. And let's just say, what they found wasn't exactly organic. The packaging? Not fully recyclable. The ingredients? Not locally sourced. Even the mission statement was basically AI-generated fluff. Critics didn't need to investigate. The lies were practically composting themselves. Suddenly, as ever looked less like a sustainable brand and more like Goop's awkward cousin who fakes environmentalism for likes. And let's not forget the influencers. Oh, they were quick to unbox their free baskets on TikTok until this mess blew up. Then, silence. Vanished. No more as ever hashtags. One even deleted a video and reposted it with store-bought jam. Ouch. And where was Meghan during all this? Hiding behind that Montecito shrubbery, probably coaching Harry on how to look royal without a title. The guy's still giving speeches, like he's next in line. Why? It's pathetic. You left, remember? And yet, no response. No apology. No clarification. Just silence. That same old Markle move. Disappear until the headlines cool down. But this time, even that couldn't save her. Behind the scenes? Total chaos. Meghan's PR team scrambled like Prince Harry at a royal event. Awkward, confused, and praying nobody asked questions. Emails flew, calls were made, damage control strategies drafted on whiteboards. Some suggested a teary-eyed interview. Others pushed for a rebrand. Maybe drop the jam, add skincare? One desperate idea even pitched a reunion special with Oprah, but none of it stuck. Why? Because the problem wasn't the product, it was the perception. And when perception is your currency, you can't afford to lose public trust, especially not over fruit preserves. Then the resignations came. 4 senior staffers, big names from Apple and Netflix, walked out in just weeks. That's not a rough patch, that's a brand exodus. And when even People magazine started reporting it, you knew it wasn't just bad PR, it was a credibility landslide. Meghan's empire, built on curated lighting and famous last names, was crumbling. Even the most loyal fans started questioning it all. The mindfulness, the feminism, the empowered woman narrative. It all started to feel fake because, let's be honest, you can't preach authenticity and then slap Sir David Attenborough's name on a product he's never even heard of. That's not empowerment, that's exploitation. And the public? They weren't buying it, literally and figuratively. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. Meghan's silence dragged on like one of Harry's memoir chapters nobody asked for. No Instagram live, no softly lit apology about being misunderstood. Nothing, just polished silence while the internet burned her brand to the ground. And the irony? That silence, once her power move, now looked like a retreat. When you build your empire on borrowed credibility, and the person you borrowed it from publicly slams the door, what's left? Even loyal defenders didn't know what to say anymore. Sir David isn't some tabloid target. He's a knight, a royal advisor, a global icon. And when he says, "Don't use my name," it's not gossip, it's judgment. Meghan wanted the prestige, but forgot one thing. Real credibility can't be bought, borrowed, or branded. And that forward mic drop? It exposed the truth she'd been trying to curate out of sight. Inside Team Sussex, things went from "we got this" to full-on panic mode. Staffers reportedly held late-night meetings, trying to plug holes in a ship that was already sinking. PR firms were on standby. Brainstorm boards were covered in ideas like pivot to skincare, launch a podcast special, and, wait for it, get Harry to post something supportive. Because nothing says damage control like your husband uploading a selfie in a garden saying, "Proud of you, babe." But none of it landed. Why? Because the issue wasn't the jam. It wasn't the influencers or the packaging. It was the illusion. The illusion that Meghan's brand stood for something deeper than self-promotion. Sir David's quiet but powerful rejection shattered that illusion. And once people saw behind the curtain, they couldn't unsee it. Meghan had played the game of prestige by association. But when one of the biggest names in the world says, "Nope, not with her," the entire pyramid starts to crack. What made it worse? This wasn't just any name. This was Sir David Attenborough, a man who's advised monarchs, educated generations, and stood as the gold standard for environmental truth. In the UK, he's practically royalty himself. So when he draws a line and refuses to be linked to Meghan's jam empire, it sends a message far louder than any podcast ever could. This wasn't about branding anymore. It was about symbolism. It was like the grown-ups in the room collectively said, "Enough." And suddenly, Meghan's glow dimmed. The Hollywood elite, once eager to attach themselves to her empowered duchess aesthetic, began backing away. No one wants to be the last person defending a collapsing illusion, especially not when that illusion's been exposed by someone who actually earned his respect, without hashtags, filters, or brand deals. Meghan's playbook just got shredded on the world stage. Meanwhile, public trust eroded fast. Consumers who once believed in the ethical luxury image now saw it as performance art. Eco-conscious claims with no receipts. Photo shoots in orchards that looked more rented than real. Even Meghan's supporters began quietly questioning whether it was ever about purpose or just prestige. And as insiders leaked whispers of frantic calls, influencer deals falling through, and even legal advice being sought, it was clear this wasn't a PR hiccup. This was a full-blown identity crisis. And the saddest part? Meghan didn't say a word. No apology, no explanation, just the same silence that once made her seem gracefully above it all, now making her look like she's got nothing left to say. Because when someone like Sir David drops 4 words that loud, even the best PR team can't drown out the echo. With the fallout still smoldering, Meghan's silence became its own headline. No damage control video, no glossy interview with a sympathetic outlet, just complete withdrawal. Some expected a surprise comeback, maybe a collab with a Hollywood ally or a staged healing post. But weeks passed, and the only thing growing was the list of influencers quietly scrubbing, as ever, tags from their feeds. PR firms on retainer reportedly advised her to issue a public apology or rebrand altogether. But Meghan? She doubled down on silence. And here's the thing. When your entire brand revolves around being seen as intentional, evolved, and transparent, going ghost sends the opposite message. The internet doesn't forget. Screenshots were saved, memes were minted, and the damage was done. Meghan, the self-proclaimed symbol of modern mindfulness, had gone from Duchess to digital punchline, all because she tried to borrow a name that wasn't hers to use it in the end, as ever became a cautionary tale. Not about jam, not about Instagram aesthetics, but about the danger of building a brand on borrowed identity. Meghan hoped to position herself as a global thought leader, a woman of values and vision. But all it took was one respected man with nothing to sell and everything to lose to say, "Don't use my name." And the entire illusion collapsed. No crisis post, no brand revival, just a hard, silent lesson. You can't market authenticity, you have to live it. Even now, no statement has come from her camp, just polished silence wrapped in PR armor that no longer works. Because when the mask slips, you don't get to decide what the world sees. And in this case, what they saw was someone trying to package prestige without earning it. And the world? It's no longer buying it.so. What's next for Meghan? A rebrand? A retreat? Or just radio silence? One thing's clear, when Sir David Attenborough says don't, the world listens. And if you think this was messy, just wait. There's more unfolding than you think. But we'll get into that in another video.